Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to your neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name is Suzanne, and I'm here with the life of our very active community. In our galleries, we present Portraits Transformed, a group show with Chris Emanuel, Hannah Hager, and Mark Miller. The show will be up until June 1st. Help lead Neighborhood's next chapter. Become a member of our board of directors. Nominations are now open for NUC's board of directors. We need at least one new board member and are open to more. There's a lot of work to be done. You can deepen your spiritual growth, share your ideas, and develop leadership skills as one of our board members. Elections will be at our AGM after service on Sunday the 27th. And we are also looking for a nominating committee chair for next year. You can speak with Moira, who's here today, for more info, or the NomCom members, Laura, who I saw, and Karen, there at the back. And speaking of our AGM, as I mentioned, it's on Sunday, April 27th, after service here in Rapoport Hall. You can attend by Zoom to find out what's going on, but voting will be in person only. All members are encouraged to attend, and if you can't, please appoint a proxy to vote in your place. We will review our final financial documents from 2024, elect our president and new board members, and discuss reports from our staff and committees. And tonight, here in Rapoport Hall, we are hosting a concert in support of NIA Center for the Arts. The concert includes our own Spirit Choir, the UFT Spirit Singers, and Common Thread Community Chorus. Entry is by donation to NIA. Doors open at 6:30, and the concert will start at 7. If there's anyone here that could help me out after service today just to move some chairs and some furniture to set up for tonight, I'd really appreciate it. And we're also looking for some greeters to welcome people at the door as they arrive and point them towards this sanctuary. If you can be a greeter, please see Luann, our chair of the greeters. Thanks, Lou. Next weekend on Saturday night is our third of 4 Saturday night movement services, part of a pilot project we've introduced at Neighborhood this year. It's called Moonlight Metamorphosis. Join us on this full moon to explore passing through cycles of struggle into resilience and discovering joyful moments of being along the way. Doors open at 6:30. The ritual starts at 7. We'll have snacks at 8:30 and a DJ'd ecstatic dance from 8:45 to 9:45 for closing circle. All are welcome. Bruce, can we get a check on my mic, please? Thank you. Active Hope Small Group is happening on Wednesday evenings, starting April 16th to June 25th. Dr. Nate Chirac and our own Gwen Showerty will co-facilitate the small group that empowers you to engage in meaningful action to address the challenges of our time while preventing burnout. Sign-up sheet is in the cappuccino room under the TV screen. There's 3 spots available. Next Sunday after service, we're hosting a art fundraiser here in Rapoport Hall. Celebrate the creativity of this community with works by Helen Armstrong, Chris Emanuel, Tab Enta, Peter Marmarick, Lauren Renzetti, and Luann Ship. The event supports our congregation while showcasing our amazing artists. Every contribution makes a difference. We have a call for volunteers. Are you an early bird that could help the congregation by coming in at 8:30 or 8:45 on Sunday mornings to help set up our chairs before service? This is a simple way you can volunteer for NUC that would have a great impact on accessibility of our space and comfort. You can talk to me after service if this might be you and a way you can help support our community. Next Sunday, told you we were busy. Next Sunday, after the art show, we're holding our April session of circle music. All are welcome to join in this improvised music-making circle, co-facilitated by myself and Jane Lewis. That's from 3 to 5 p.m. next Sunday. That's today. That's my fault. So, whoops. Next Sunday is Love at the Center, transformation. We continue with transformation, but the message will be, who, me? Change. And our speaker will be our friend, Reverend Lynn Harrison. Music will be provided by Suzanne and friends, and Lynn. Our service weaver will be Allison. Thank you, Allison. And time for our all ages with our LL director, Julia Thompson.
Good morning. I was gonna, I can't hear myself, but I'm sure that's okay. Y'all can hear me? All right, I'm gonna, no, okay. How was that? That was my bad. So let's do that again. Good morning, beautiful spirits. Good morning, those of you in the sanctuary, and hi, Zoomers. Happy Sunday to everyone. My name is Debb Bertazzon, and it's a pleasure, as always, to be your service weaver for today. I stand before you as a white settler and acknowledge that the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nations are the treaty holders of this land, and that the Wendat, the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy lived here before me and are living here now, together with our First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. We are in a time of huge transformation, and we cannot predict what is going to happen during this great turning. I offer my gratitude to our First Nations people for their care and their teachings about Earth and all relations. And I pray that these lessons are not lost in the chaos, but rather kept at the forefront of the minds of everyone's minds as we move forward. So let's begin today, in this moment, by co-creating and entering sacred space. Please join me in either reciting or listening to our collective invocation. Let us cast a circle. Come on up, Rob. This morning, our chalice will be lit by Rob Corbett. Rob will draw from the flame already burning in our children's chalice, reminding us to draw from the passion and the wisdom of our young ones during this time of growth and transformation. And please join us as we sing together.
Good morning, everyone. Is this on? It's a great pleasure to play some music for you this morning. For those of you who haven't met, Geneviève Gilardeau is a violinist who's playing with me. We're going to do some duets today. And Geneviève is here with her family. And Geneviève is a member of Toronto's world-renowned Tafelmusik Baroque Orchestra, a great violinist. We have not been playing together too much in recent years, but in the past we've played together a whole lot. So it's a great pleasure to get together again to do some playing. Everything we're playing today is by Ernst Eichner, who is a now very obscure German composer from the 1700s. Neither of us had ever heard of him before playing this music. However, just searching for nice duets, this came up, and the music is beautiful. Eichner was a bassoonist, and he lived a very short time, lived to be about 35 in the mid-1700s, and we hope you enjoy these movements that we're playing this morning.
Beautiful. Thank you. And now let's continue in sacred space. Now, a little bit after the fact, today I'd like to shine a special gratitude welcome spotlight onto our guest musicians, Board President Tony Rapoport and Geneviève Gilardeau, and we'll be hearing two more instrumental pieces today, as well as our beloved David Zalokar, who will be sharing the message of inspiration today entitled 12-Step Spirituality, Transformation plus Service equals Love. Just a quick reminder that we have a mask required area where Tony is sitting to your right for those who prefer or require masks. And some folks who sit here during the services are also unable to join in the Cappuccino Lounge after service. So if you want to have a post-service chat with them in the sanctuary, please remember to wear a mask at that time as well. Here at Neighborhood, we're open to many beliefs and we learn from many traditions. Anyone looking for a spiritual community is welcome here. If you're visiting us in person for the first time, we welcome you, and we encourage you to come or to stay after service for our bevy and snack time. One way of learning more about NUUC is by taking a red mug, and that's a signal to us that you're okay having us approach you to talk about Neighborhood and about yourself. A second way to find out more about us is through filling out the information slip in the back pocket of the chair in front of you. Oh, thank you, Peter. Oh, and Lauren. Does anybody else want to hold one up? And if you do this, it's a way that we can answer some questions that you might have, and it will alert us that you would like us to keep in touch with you. Just plop it in the offering basket later in the service. Our services vary in many ways from week to week, so we encourage you to sample a few to get a better feel of who we are. However, there are some consistent staples. For example, our mission. Our mission at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of the world. Every 6 weeks or so, we explore new themes based on our UU values and principles. Last week, Rev Sally and Peter started getting us curious about the idea of transformation. Today, we're continuing with this reflection as we ponder the topic of 12-step spirituality. When I saw what today's topic was going to be, I knew that I wanted to service weave. Many of you know that I'm an alcoholic, and I took my last drink on October 31st, 2022. When I realized that I had moved into dangerous territory with my alcoholism, I spoke to our dear friend Doug Crozier, who walked me through the various kinds of programs I could participate in to get some help. I chose a program called Smart Recovery, mostly because I'm a neuro nerd, but I did consider AA as well. Now, I know this is kind of silly, but between you and me and now the folks on YouTube, AA was on my list of possibilities because I really love that they have catchy, you've probably heard all these little mottos and sayings, and I would read them and say, oh, yes, and they would just stay in my head. But I know that there's much more to the program than that, and David's nodding, so we're going to hear more about that from David. I didn't mean to minimize it. Yeah, okay. Growing up, we had a plaque in our hallway of the Serenity Prayer, and I'm not sure why. My parents weren't alcoholics. Maybe it was some sort of psychic forecasting or something like that. Nonetheless, I'd read it every day. You probably know it and likely know that it's a mantra said at the end of all of the AA meetings. So fast forward a bit. Lately, I've been feeling preoccupied, if not overwhelmed, by what's happening in North America and around the world, knowing that many lives are being transformed, but not in a good way. In my drinking days, I would have distracted myself or numbed these kind of feelings with a glass of wine, well, or a bottle, or a barrel. But numbing, of course, doesn't change anything. And while my sober thinking is much clearer than my alcohol-induced thinking, I still don't have solutions. But I don't avoid the feelings anymore. In fact, I usually notice my big feelings as alert signs. Most importantly, though, I have learned that because I actually was able to quit drinking, I know that positive change and transformation is possible. As part of my recovery journey, I am reminded to look both inward at myself and outward as a citizen of the world to consider how I impact others. So as a reading for today, I give you 2 quotes. The first is from Rumi. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. And for me, I know that's what's in my control. The second is the Serenity Prayer. And if you know it, and if it moves you to do so, please feel free to say it with me. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And now it's time to look outside of ourselves and to greet our neighbors. Who knows, maybe this greeting may transform their day in some way. And after you've greeted a few neighbors, don't forget our friends on Zoom and give a little wave to the back camera so that you can say hello to them as well.
We're going to continue the service with more words from Rumi in a favorite Unitarian Universalist hymn, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And the way that it's set in our hymnal, it's missing one crucial line from the poem that we're going to bring back in today. And that line is, can I get the slide, please? Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come, come again. And the way Lynn Ungar said it, I'm not sure why she dropped that line, but to me, this is a crucial line to always try again. So if I could, hi, Allison, thanks for coming to help. Let's split the congregation in 2, and we're going to have this side of the room chanting that line, that forgotten line. And that's going to sound like this. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times. Find a place to breathe in there. Oh, yeah, we can keep going. On this side, we're going to sing the hymn. If you haven't heard it before, you'll catch on to it after a few rounds, okay? Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Let's do it one more time. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Though you've broken your vows 1,000. Can you go with them? How about we do the hymns part? Let them take it. Next time. Ready, everyone? Here we go. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Though you've broken your vows, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times. Come yet again, come.
Good morning, everyone. Well, today we're going to do a tableau for all ages. And maybe some of you were here when we did this maybe about a year ago. And tableau comes from the French word meaning painting. So we are going to be creating a painting, a living painting with our bodies, but a frozen painting. And so if we could have the first slide, I'm going to show you some examples of tableau. And coming up, yeah, it's the next one. Yes. So let's look at this. I see in the upper left a bunch of kids. It kind of looks to me like a scene about different ways of a person can be bullied, perhaps. And then right beside it, maybe like we stand strong in solidarity, perhaps. And then we have a pirate who is, telling some swashbuckling adventure to people in a what do you call it, a pub or a tavern. That's the word, a tavern. And then I'm just curious, does anybody have an idea of this last one? It's very expressive. Like a family drama. Yeah, maybe. I mean, somebody is like really showing with her body and with her expression that she's really upset. And then this other person is sort of being like very defensive, maybe. The other person is kind of looking at this person who is on the floor with their head down, wondering what's happening. And then the other person is just kind of watching everything. So as you can see, a good tableau uses different levels. So maybe somebody can be like this, somebody sort of halfway, somebody standing up, different ways of moving our body. The more the more expressive we are, the more we manage to communicate that message to everyone. So just to put you in the frame of mind for the tableau that hopefully, you will help me create, I just want you to imagine that when we're able to give, sometimes, we may think it's just a very, very small bit of something that we're giving. You don't know, it could be a big thing for the person who we are giving it to. And the fact that I know that myself, I'm able to give is because along the way, people gave to me. So it gave me that strength to give to others. Sometimes we need help and sometimes we're able to give help. And just every little bit counts. So for the message that I would like us to communicate is, let's see, I have it here. I just want to make sure that I say it clearly. So, I offer my help as others have helped me, as one day you may help others. So, kind of the present, I offer my help as others have offered their help, past, to me, as one day you, who I'm helping in the future, may help others. What do you think? Do you think that we might be able to try that out? Anybody want to try that out with me? And then, and to make a tableau, sorry, I should have said there are 3 steps. So the first, we decide on the message, which we have done. The second one is we think about that message and how we're going to position our bodies and our facial expressions to show that message. And the third, I'm going to say, when I stand back and feel that our tableau is ready, I'll say 1, 2, 3. You can move around, position yourself, and don't get in a position that you don't think you're going to be able to hold because you're going to be freezing for a while. So I'll say 1, 2, 3. You can get ready, and then I'm going to say freeze. And I mean, you can breathe, you can blink, but to try to hold that position. And then while you're frozen, I'm going to ask somebody to describe what you see here, what your interpretation is. Would that work? Yeah, does anybody want to try? Anybody want to come up and help me with the tableau? I just need a few people. Thank you. Yay, yes, 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 yes. All right. Come, whoever you are. Yes. All right. And you can show individually, or we can show together, or we can somehow join. I'm going to be sort of standing out during the kind of so we see somebody who is, okay. And then perhaps the past. Yeah. Ooh, nice. So 1, 2, 3, freeze. Does anybody want to describe what they see here? Is it on? Is it on, right? On, yes. Anybody want to describe what you see here? Okay.
On this end, it looks like Rob is maybe resisting the help and saying stop, but Brenda is still reaching out to lift him up.
Yes. Nice. Anybody else? Yes, Joe.
Somebody is drowning.
Oh, maybe drowning in something. Anybody else? Yeah. Oh. Denise?
Looks like Eileen is helping. Is that her name? Eileen
Eileen.
is helping. Brenda support Rob while also giving her support to the next person who is helping Tab help this person.
Yes.
And the symmetry kind of invokes the past and the future.
Yes. The past, the present, the future. We could even, I know this is kind of hard, but I mean, if we could somehow, I imagine joining Rob, the future Rob, perhaps helping as well, extending help to Lauren, but it's kind of tricky to do here. Thank you so much. Oh, relax, sorry. I forgot. You were such good sports. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you. That was so incredible. Thank you so much, tableau artists. My name is Reverend Sally Fritchie. I'm honored to serve as the minister here at Neighborhood. I'm also here for a special type of transformation. We're having a brief joining ceremony in today's service. In February, just this year, our congregation joyfully welcomed 14 new members, and since then we've had many more visitors and newcomers coming through our doors. Today we have 3 more who are officially ready to join our congregation. I would like to invite up here to the chalice Aces Rogers, Eileen Bach, and Sarah Wirt. Please come forward. Before we officially celebrate your joining as members, you'll each have a chance to light a candle from our chalice and speak briefly a sentence or two about what brought you here or what it means to you to be joining as a member. You might light a candle first, and then I'll have your microphone.
So I'm Astus, and I came here looking for community, and I'm overjoyed and overfull. Thank you.
Morning. I'm Eileen, and membership to me is a commitment to a community that lets me live out my values with a much greater magnitude than I ever could on my own.
I first joined Neighborhood in 2013 with my late partner, Reverend Rod Solano Kisnell. And it was such a joy to be part of the community then. And now, returning after 5 years away, it is a joy to be back here, and a really important place to be for me, I think, as I try to figure out my new life without Rod and figure out the path of healing.
Thank you. Thank you all. We are looking forward to seeing how your individual chapters unfold as part of the larger story of our community. And with that, I'll invite everyone here. Open your hearts to these newest members of our community. Feel the flow of energy and warmth between us. Let it be directed up here to them. And they are going to say the words declaring their commitment to this community, which will be up on a slide momentarily. And if you all can share a microphone so the world can hear you.
I will endeavor to follow Neighborhood's mission to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. I will also strive to craft a spiritual life, live our 8 principles, and share my time, resources, and abilities to strengthen our congregation.
And the current members of Neighborhood, I invite you to respond with your own words, accepting and welcoming these newest members. That will appear on a slide momentarily. We, the members of Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation, welcome you into our community with open hearts. We offer to you not just welcome, but belonging. May you find with us a place of both comfort and challenge, a place where your spirit can both rest and grow, a place where you are known and can transform more fully into who you wish to be. Welcome! We release you back to your seats as we sing our new member song together. Thank you. Today's service is about 12-step spirituality, and the 11th step of those 12 is one that focuses on spiritual practice, prayer, and meditation. Step 11 is to seek through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. So this meditation comes directly from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, Step 11. It's a visualization meditation, so I invite you to take a breath, rest your eyes, rest your body in whatever way makes you feel centered. As though lying upon a sunlit beach, let us relax and breathe deeply of the spiritual atmosphere with which the grace of prayer surrounds us. Let us become willing to partake and be strengthened and lifted up by the sheer spiritual power, beauty, and love of which these prayers are the carriers. Let us look now out upon the sea and ponder what its mystery is. And let us lift our eye to the far horizon, beyond which we shall seek all those wonders still unseen. The moment we catch even a glimpse of God's will, the moment we begin to see truth, justice, and love as the real and eternal things in life, we are no longer lost and frightened and purposeless. May this be so. May the sunlit beach and deep, mysterious ocean accompany us through all our steps in life. May we be transformed by the glimpses of a will beyond our own. May we be no longer lost, no longer frightened, no longer purposeless. We breathe together and come back into this shared space.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And in case you don't know, my name is David, and I'm an alcoholic. Hi. Now, I've been saying this declaration of being an alcoholic now for over 30 years, and at one point I saw this as nothing more than a death sentence, to make this declaration. But, you know, I never realized that identifying myself as an alcoholic was actually going to be, in fact, the first step towards personal liberation. Now, I need to say right off the top, anything that I say here this morning is based on my own personal experience. I'm not a professional 12-stepper, nor do I in any way speak on behalf of those fellowships out there. This is the part of the beauty of the 12 Steps movement. No one person is the sole authority. There is no formal leadership or professional class leading our recovery. As well, I need to impress that the 12 Steps by no means are the only path of recovery. as stated earlier. But it is a path that has brought millions of addicts out of the darkness and into the light of recovery. The power of the 12 steps is unique because that message is carried from one person to another. And while members of 12-step communities don't dismiss the work that is being done by professionals in the fields of medicine, therapy, social work, or religion, the effectiveness of our work is the trust that hearing a message from one who has suffered and has found a way out. I want to ask you first off, does anyone know that there's a lot of 12-step work that's going on in this building on a weekly basis? Does anyone know that? A few of you do, yeah. Yeah, we'll put up the first slide. There they are, right there. 7 days a week. You could find something going on here. People sharing their experience, strength, and hope. This home is a hub of a lot of activity here at Neighborhood and in this building, along with the work that's being done by the Danforth Multicultural, Multi-Faith Commons, as well as the Out of the Cold program. There's a host of 12-step meetings that take place here regularly. And I'm not saying, yeah, and as you said, quite a few were you aware of it, and probably quite a few of you weren't. But there is support here at 310 Danforth for anybody that is seeking a solution and for their various addictions. Trying to break down the 12-step recovery would take hours, but I can tell you what happened to me. Some people outside of the 12-step communities might find that the admission of powerlessness is being rather stigmatizing. Words do have power, and I once felt that way, so I'm speaking from experience on this. But my healing wasn't possible if I didn't make that admission first. The famous quote by Dr. Carl Jung says, "One does not become enlightened by by imagining figures of life, but by making the dark conscious." I needed to know that the darkness was there before I could recover. And as a side note, Dr. Jung actually did play a small but significant role in the formation of Alcoholics Anonymous. And if anyone wants to hear that story, I can tell it to you during coffee time. Because that'll take like way too long. I came from an alcoholic home myself, and I believed that if I tried to stay invisible, everything was going to be okay. Also, there was a lot of messaging that was going on at that time in the household. Don't ask questions, don't cause trouble. That was the way of life it was when I was growing up. Now I was a pretty anxious kid growing up at that time. You know, I was probably suffering some degree of trauma at the time from growing up in a house full of addiction and violence. And even when my father would come home, and we wouldn't know which person was going to come through the door. And that could be very frightening and very unnerving. Even when my father passed away, those messages that I learned early on about don't speak, don't ask questions, don't cause trouble, they became, the marching orders in the household. My mother believed that it made life easier if we just kind of just sit down, shut up, and do as we were told. The only reason I mention this is to give you a snapshot of the person I was before alcohol and drugs found me. And even though I knew all of this stuff was going on in my household, I saw it firsthand, I had a front row seat for it, that wasn't going to save me from what was going to happen to me over the next few years. And I took my first drink at the age of 7. It was, Christmas time, somebody threw a splash of wine into a glass of ginger ale, and I drank it. And like I said before, I'm an anxious kid, so that innocent drink gave me an instant sense of ease and comfort. And I never experienced that before, that ease and comfort. And I couldn't wait to try it again. And boy, did I try it again. Over and over and over again. Alcohol was magic to me. Sneaking drinks became commonplace. By the time I was 14 years old, I found other substances that did the exact same thing that alcohol did. And actually, in some ways, even took me to even new and strange new worlds. By 16, I believe I was hooked. I was a full-blown alcoholic drug addict. And I was starting to get into a lot of trouble at work, and I was getting in trouble at home, I was getting in trouble at school, and eventually what happened was that the principal handed me my high school diploma and told me to get lost when I was 17. And it was around that time that I started to notice that maybe I had a problem. And I tried to stop on a number of occasions, but I couldn't do it. I tried to change, the environment. I tried to change people that I was hanging around with. But the problem is that I brought myself with me wherever I went. This went on for several more years, and during that time, I worked in a restaurant, and it seemed that the only reason I was there was to get high, earn some money, get high. And it was, and any of you that worked in restaurants, it's like an amazing environment for anybody to kind of party it up. Speaking from personal experience. But at that time, I was seeing friends that were going to college, and they were getting married, and they were moving away. And, I was really feeling like there was something really wrong with me, because I was just kind of stuck in, the family basement, drinking my face off. I did kind of pull it together, though, and I started traveling around Canada for about a year. And shortly after, when I got back from that travel, I started college. And it was around that time that the bottom fell out of my life completely. I began to think that death might have been a viable solution to what was going on inside of me. And came pretty close on a couple of occasions. Instead, what I did was I made the most important phone call that I believe that I've ever made in my entire life. And I ended up at my first Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. I showed up there at the age of 22, and I met a group of people there that seemed a hell of a lot more happier that I was there than I was at the time. The last thing I just wanted to crawl under a chair and disappear. But these people, they just kind of stuck out their hand and they said, hello, welcome. Kind of like what we do here at Neighborhood. There was this guy by the name of Leo. He took me aside. He was a man in his 50s. He worked in the auto industry, and at that time he'd been sober 5.5 years. And I'd never met this man before in my life, but after talking to him for a few minutes, I felt like he had known me my entire life. And that was rather shattering. And it was from that conversation that the seeds of change were being sown. I didn't know at that time. I was starting to experience a spiritual awakening of sorts. My life was starting to be transformed by just that simple conversation, and I was never the same after that. And it was in that basement, that church basement on December 9th, 1984, that I was first introduced to the great mystery that was going to become an active part of my life. Yeah, now I'm going to be mentioning God a fair bit here over the next little while. And I know that word and that concept can be touchy to some people. It can be an obstacle to actually some new people coming in looking for help. It's oftentimes new people leave their first AA meeting or their first recovery meeting and think that everybody in there was some kind of a religious kook because God. But there's an old saying in the rooms of recovery: if God scares you out of the rooms, the booze will eventually scare you back in. And it has. And upon returning, a lot of these new people realize that believing in something bigger than themselves is a far better way of living life than, active addiction. And I personally never had a hang-up about God. I grew up Catholic, but I rejected religion when I was in my teens. But I never stopped believing in something bigger than myself. I've come to believe that God is a word that I use to attempt to understand, and it provides me some meaning to things that I don't understand. A way of creating a framework for the universe's mysteries. The gift of being conscious and present has made change possible, and that understanding of the mystery gets revised from time to time. Something new always comes along to challenge it. For example, last week's talk by Reverend Sally. After hearing that, I had to kind of reevaluate this God that I really don't understand yet again. I guess that's the role of a good minister, to push everybody to think and rethink about where they are, their values and their lives. And that's also what the 12 steps do as well. They provide a framework for evaluating and reevaluating our relationships with not only ourselves and other people, but that great mystery as well. And I often thought that, for me, I often thought that God was just a name of a blanket that I used to throw over top of the mystery to give it some shape. After last week's service, I got a few more things to consider, and maybe I'll get back to you on that at another time. At first, after that first meeting and for several years after that, the nip of the ringer doesn't hurt as much anymore, and I stopped maybe taking this situation, my situation less seriously, and I'm still attending meetings because it was definitely an alternative to that other thing that was going on, and I had some periods of sobriety, and my life was getting better. I graduated from college, and I met my wife, got married, and we had a son. Everything seemed normal. But I was dying inside, and I didn't even know it. Denial is an outstanding characteristic of addiction. So it should be no surprise that the wheels eventually did fall off my life again, and I returned to active addiction. My marriage ended. My wife told me to get out, and I moved back in with my mother. And upon returning to AA, that I saw that I had to start working the steps, or I was doomed. And the next slide will show you. There they are, the 12 steps. And what some people actually outside of the 12-step fellowships may not understand is that putting down the drug of choice is only the bare beginning. Asking for help isn't easy for many people in the world, and for addicts in particular, asking for help can be pretty frightening. We spent years running away from those things that we've now being asked to face. So it can be, rather, jarring to say the least. But you know what? Being in a community of recovered addicts alleviates a lot of that fear. It certainly did in my case. And I didn't have to be alone through this. In fact, I was no longer alone. And that's a hallelujah moment for me. Dr. Gabor Mate, in his work with people with mental health and addiction problems, feels that connection is the antidote to addiction. Through his work, he found that those people that suffered from problems with mental health and addiction tend to do far better in their healing in community than they did on their own. And it is through the work of the 12 steps that many of us have been transformed. In the 12-step fellowships, people who would not normally mix are no longer alone in the social sense. But since, a lot of us, takes time, haven't begun to start taking that deep look inside, they may still be feeling that sense of anxious apartness that a lot of us feel when we're using. And for me, I came to realize that in order to recover, more was being asked of me than just putting down what I was using. For people who are new to recovery, to stop using is like losing your best friend or your lover. For some, returning to active addiction can feel like a better alternative than honestly facing themselves. Often, though, they come to accept the only way to recover is accepting the help and embracing the process. For me, breaking myself open like that, forced me to relive a lot of trauma of growing up in that environment and the things that happened to me afterwards. At some point, I needed to seek professional help for that. The 12 steps are not meant as therapy. And that's something that's very important to stress, that it's not a therapeutic process. But the steps do give, at least they gave me, a safe place where I could explore those events in my life. I can look back now, and that the only reason I'm here today is because I felt the fear and moved through it anyways. I'm grateful to those people who supported me through the healing journey, and I'm grateful to that doctor who helped me make sense of it all. My saving grace has been realizing that the solution to those things that trouble me was in a belief in something bigger than myself. Through the support of community that are traveling this path with me, made the miracle recovery possible. The 12 steps have made it possible to surrender everything I knew about myself, every lie, every prejudice, every painful experience. And that's the only reason I'm here today, because I stuck around long enough. I stayed a little longer, I tried a little harder, and voila. And most importantly, I found purpose in carrying this message to others. The 12 steps of recovery, the 12th step of recovery, as you can see there, says, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Next slide. Yeah, this is a famous painting. I don't know who the artist was, but it's very common in the rooms of the 12 Steps rooms. It's called The Man in the Bed. And it's supposed to be an artist rendering of the founding members of Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob Smith, having a conversation with a gentleman who's referred to as Bill D, the AA number 3. And it's a powerful message because it's just these two gentlemen who are there to help this other person with no other reward coming out of it is their own sobriety, as well as the sobriety of the person who's in the bed. And so the call to service is actually baked into our process that we do. Our recovery literature tells us that practical experience shows us that nothing will so much ensure immunity to using as intensive work with others who suffer. I have come to believe that in order to live a spiritual life, I need to do this. Service to others is living the spiritual life. Much like our mission here at Neighborhood, it says, to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. We are called to grow and to serve. And like that mission statement, the 12 Steps reminds me that I need to take this out into the world. I can't just sit on my recovery and live happily ever after. It doesn't work that way. In order to keep it, I have to give it away. And the 12 Steps are following a very old tradition, because this is something that is found in most spiritual traditions throughout time, this idea of service. And by opening myself up let me try that again. And for myself, what happened was that by opening up myself in a very deep and meaningful way, I actually revealed something that I didn't know was there, and that's empathy. Yeah, I didn't enter recovery to find out that I actually cared about other people. I was there for myself. This was for me and me alone. And but one of the outstanding characteristics of most addicts is that we have this sense of profound self-centeredness. And in my case, the transformation into a caring person was nothing short of a miracle. As well, reaching out to others is my way of paying my debt back to those who over the years have, lovingly carried me. To me, this is true love, a love that says, I know how you feel. Can I help? Yeah. Now, I can't stand here today and say that I do this perfectly by any means. Like the Rumi song that we sang earlier, we have broken our vows 1,000 times. That's me. I've fallen short of this ideal. I can't begin to say how many times. But nobody walking the path of the 12 steps can claim perfection. We live the human experience, and we have found a way out that calls for us to continue to look inward and see where our healing is needed. And I often refer to myself as a work in progress, and I hope that I always will be. The people I've known in recovery over the years often share the same sentiment. Now, to close, what I've said here today is based on my own experience and what I've observed in the lives of those that have been walking this path with me. There are many people who have found release from the disease of addiction outside of the 12 steps. And I applaud those people who were brave enough to face themselves and end up on the other side happy and purposeful people. We're all kindred spirits, and we now enjoy freedom, a new freedom, and a new happiness. My only wish for anybody that needs help is that they find it. If you happen to be a person looking for a solution and find that the story that I've told you this morning doesn't suit, that's fine. I just hope that you can brush aside any doubts that you might have and find a solution that works best for you. And all I can do today is offer you the only solution that I truly know. The one that saved my life. Thank you.
And now it's time for our offertory. Sharing of ourselves is a part of every faith, and we're so grateful for all the volunteer work that is done here, but we also need monetary contributions that pay salaries, create programs, and, well, for basically all the necessities like keeping the lights on. Members of Neighborhood choose a variety of ways to give financially, either through the offerings in the basket, through the QR codes, or from their banks. If you're using the baskets for your giving, please, and if you want an income tax receipt, please fill out the deets on the envelope. Whether you're online or here in the sanctuary, you can use this QR code displayed on the screen, and that's going to hook you to our donation page on our website. And in all ways, I ask that you be generous, and thank you in advance for your donation. Greeters, when the money has been collected in the baskets, please bring them to me. And over to Tony and Geneviève. beautiful. Thank you, Tony and Geneviève. If you have found love and acceptance here, if you have found home here, if you have found kindred spirits here, let this offering be a token of our gratitude for our common life as we build the common good.
Our minister emeritus, Reverend Wayne Walder, developed a ritual with us called the healing ritual, which was, we practiced it for a few years, maybe every couple of months or so. And he used to say, although we can't cure anybody, we can heal each other. And I thank David for sharing a message of healing within community. So we're going to close our service today singing the song we would sing for that healing ritual, which is, I am with you. I am with you that I might heal. You are with me that you might heal. We are together that we might heal. We are healing that we might love. Some harmonies out there. I am with you that I might heal. You are with me that you might heal. We are together that we might heal. We are while Deb closes us out.
Well, actually, I'm inviting Rob back up. Rob, make your way up. I don't know, I was going to do it to the humming, but... And please join us as we sing our chalice extinguishing song.
Although our chalice has been darkened, we hold the fire within our own hearts.
And I see we're already connected physically as we have been spiritually, so I'm going to hand the mic over to Sally.
Let us close today with a reminder that transformation is possible. Look around this room and know that you are surrounded by living proof of this fact. We are all of us in a journey of change. May we be lifted up by those who go before us, and may we in turn lift up those who are following behind. May we know we are not alone in this journey, that we have one another, and that we have a vast cloud of all those who are on the journey with us. Go in peace, in love, in connection, and be transformed. Amen.